Welcome to another episode of Footballers Only. I'm Mike Idiokitas.
I'm James Benet.
Welcome. Footballers Only is brought to you by DC 11. As you can see, James is wearing the fly DC 11 hoodie.
Yeah,
I'm wearing
the culture, man.
Look at that. The logo tee.
Shout out to non-culture.
Yes. You see the glow in the dark. It's glowing. It glows in the dark.
Another I want to ask too, though, because you mentioned what you said. What if the kid, like we said, like if the coaches have everything for the kid, applying time and effort into the kid, but the kid don't have the energy or that push, right? But what if it's the opposite, right? The kid had everything. The kid had the push. It came to one coach. The coach developed it. He was ready, and then when you went to another coach, and then the coach killed that passion. How will you handle that?
Yeah. So, I mean, as you know, like this is a big thing. I actually have a post that I'm going to drop soon, but it's pretty much called, it's the whole, when I say rule one, rule number one, do not destroy talent. Right. Yep. And it's about the whole idea that same thing where a lot of coaches, trainers, etc., take credit for development.
Yeah.
But they rarely talk about the talent that they destroy.
That's right. Yeah.
And from my experience, the people who are screaming about they develop this, they develop that, are also they're destroying more talent than they're developing. Yeah. Right. Because there's for you to say that is an ego thing in it. And with that, it's more about you than the kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or than the other person. So you're going to get in situations where you're dealing with somebody who has a personality like Cruyff or, like, or Zlatan or Eto'o, like there's all these different personalities. And then you're going to think it's about you. And so you're not going to give them your all and, and pour into them to truly help them excel. Yeah. So for me, this is what happens. I mean, I'm not going to be speaking in in theory. I mean, you know some of these stories. But anyway, So what happens is the kid, the parent, and so it's really the parent. This is the first thing I should say. The parent sees a lot of it is fear, right? They're afraid that their kid is going to miss out on the greener grass, the shining lights.
Yeah.
And so they would, the kid is having a good time, with me in particular, I'll say, they're, really fine tuning their skill and kind of like finding their voice, in a way as a player, right? Like building their passion. And, and as a byproduct, they're becoming more, skillful and technical, etc. And so there are high commodity, and so
everyone want it.
Yeah. So they would go try out to, whatever and get picked up and, and told that, this is it. Like, this is like, you're going, like, we're here now, we're going. Yeah. And the parents excited, you know what I mean? Like this and that.
You on that pink team?
Yes. And then the first season, actually, see with me, like, because my goal is for kids to, like, here's what the bottom line. What I really want is I would love to have been a part of the journey of like 7 to 10 global superstars. Like just really seeing these kids like live to their full potential. You know what I mean? Okay. So going back to the story. So I'm saying that to say that like when a kid leaves or whatever, it's not, it's not a big deal to me. I don't take it. I'm just hoping that they, continue the path. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they go the first, and usually the parent would invite me out to the first, like either the first season, like the like first couple of games or practices or whatever it is, just to see, see what's going on. And the parents excited, about like, yeah,
This is it.
yeah. And then, so this is the fall season. And then the spring season,
Mhm.
they're calling, they're like, and I can already tell, how you can tell when somebody reach out to you, like that is not the normal reach out. Is there's something they're seeking, yeah, right. So
Yeah.
they'll reach out and I'm like, oh, what's going on? How did the season go? This and that. They'll be like, yeah, that about that.
Mhm.
When are you available for training? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I thought they were like, yeah, but they're not, no, they're not
Mhm.
training, like they're playing, but they're not like developing technically, let's just say, right? Or working on some of like the little things that you won't
Mhm.
really, I guess, address in a large group situation.
Yeah.
And then so that's in the spring. So then I'm trying to figure out, like, well, as I'm booked with a bunch of things, and so
Yeah.
let's see what we can do in the summer, this and that, so we touch base in the summer. And then the kid themselves, and this is what usually touches me. It's like the
Mhm.
kid themselves starts to recognize that they
Falling back. Yep.
yes, they're regressing,
Yeah.
because some of the things we used to do when they were younger, right?
Mhm.
Like a year younger. And in a kid's life, that's a long time, especially for a baller.
Yeah.
The thing we used to do with ease,
Mhm.
like even like aerial control, or just like
Mhm.
basic things like dribbling, turning, whatever. No, like it's harder now. Like and it should be easier because they got older, stronger, faster, like
Mhm.
and more touches, etc. And so then the kids start like, and for me, that's the bad part. When the kid starts like questioning themselves and their,
Yeah.
their ability, then
Yeah.
it's like, wow, is this, like I understand the parents' fear and this, and this and that. But is this a good decision for the kid? Like, with
Yeah.
this, and so, what I like, one of my big things is really, it's like stability. So like, I think it's important for kids to stay in environments that are nurturing, they're having fun,
Mhm.
and they're learning.
Yeah.
The 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 idea of competitiveness, I think, like, I don't know, like it's like we misunderstand what happens, like, so the if the kid is not doing any of those things and they're just competing, let's just say they're on this team that's like, number one in the area or in the region or whatever it is, they're competing this and that, but all those other things are missing, right? Like where they're
Mhm.
not they're winning because the team is winning, not necessarily because of them, like them themselves getting better or technically, and they're not having fun, right? So it's like a job at 13, 14, like, what I mean? Like it's like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're not having fun. They're not developing technically.
Mhm.
Um, and this is when the burnout, like, like it's like the early signs of the burnout. Like, so even if they may be in a situation where they may get a look here and there, et cetera, et cetera, but they can't maintain it because they're already mentally, they're tuning out now. Like, yeah, they're not like trying to like, oh no, I'm really trying to, like I'm trying to
Mhm.
have fun with this thing. And so, yeah, man, I mean, it's tough because what I prefer is, like, even in that situation I just named, like I prefer, like, if somebody goes somewhere, for
Mhm.
them to stay there, and hopefully the environment changes where, you know, there's the kid starts having fun.
Yeah.
They get their love back for the game. They, you know, they find a situation where they can start developing technically, you know, as well, and grow within the game. Because for me, the jumping ship thing is like, you know, I think we understand this when it comes to education, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we all know kids who every year, like a lot of military kids, for instance, every year they went to a different elementary.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, middle school. So they did like four elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and then maybe 2 or 3 high schools.
Yeah, in different cities.
Yeah, right? They have they almost like when you talk to these people as adults, they block out that period. Like there's no connection. Like they can't. And so when you do, like, I always think about this for kids in you know, in sports.
Yeah.
When this also happens in sports.
Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, some of these, like, I don't know, I'm sure you know some as well. Like, I know some kids that have changed teams every single season.
Yeah, that's sad.
Every season. Every season, they're on a new squad. Like, so there's very little, you know, social connections with teammates, and coaches.
Yeah.
That you're also in a situation where it's very difficult for a coach or a program to serve as your advocate. Now, this is something that we don't talk about a lot. Very, very few people talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So what people talk about is that, oh, just, you know, get in the best situation, this and that. Okay. Here's the reality. And I mean, we can maybe, I don't know, cut and paste some of this
That's good. That's good.
Into the discussion about college, for instance, or even going pro.
Yeah.
If let's just say you're in a different program, right? You're in James Academy. I'm in DC 11, and then another coach is in I don't know, Shining Lights Academy.
Yeah.
Okay. The kid starts with you, right? And as soon as it start getting busy, etc., my program is a little shinier than yours, right? So, you know, we're winning and this and that. So, you know, I show you the shining lights. I mean, I show the kids the shining lights.
Yeah.
So they jump. Like after a season, they come to me. And, you know, we win the states, you know, like we're all this stuff. But then the next program, they have I don't know, the connection to MLS or whatever it is, whatever.
Full players.
Yeah. So yeah, all of that, right? So then the kid's like, oh, let me jump there. Okay, to go there. Now, who is gonna serve? So at some point, this kid is trying to pursue, you know, either collegiate or professional career. Usually, the way these things work is, yes, there's technical ability, like meaning your skill is that, but there's a lot of people with a lot of skills, right? So there's like
everything.
Yeah. So there's the other things that come into play, and those other things are the advocates. Like remember when we were the interview we did with Jason, right? And he was talking. I don't know if it was during that interview, but anyway, but he told me about what Keith Tucker Sr. Did in ODP. You know, like and then when we talked to Keith Tucker Sr., you know, I brought it up, and he was like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know he remembered that." You know, like I got stuff. Okay, so that was that, and his whole thing. He went to the practices and spoke to the coaches on multiple occasions, asking them, where would you play Pelé?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now, if Jason hadn't been playing with, under his tutelage, under Keith Tucker's, in his program and those kind of things for a while, build a relationship with him, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would happen?
Nah.
No. It was just like, it doesn't matter how, like, that's the piece that a lot of people don't seem to understand, is that, as a parent, if you treat all the programs or the coaches as commodities, there's no incentive for them, especially since, like, there's a lot of ego in this game, right? So if you're dealing with a coach that has a lot and you left them hanging, you left them hanging for whatever reason. And some coaches don't really understand this concept that, people do need to move on for a myriad of reasons. Like it's so many reasons, and if you don't have that good of a relationship, with the coach, and you just hop in here and there, nobody's going to serve as your advocate.
That's true.
And so you will be extremely talented, like the kid, extremely talented, really want to do it. And they're just fighting.
Coach is going to avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what the parents also have to know is, like, once, like, if the coach is in this business, especially in this area or whatnot, you're going to come around, you're going to see that coach again. And it doesn't matter where you go, because coaches know each other. So no matter where you go, you might see that coach again.
Yeah. I mean, that's the unfortunate, like, and so, it's one of those things where I think so many, like, even, with this podcast, like, I mean, I can think of the number of guys that we spoke to, that we've spoken to, that the biggest regret essentially was like jumping, because they thought it was going to be great for their career. And it was in a real short, in a short period of time, because they won states or they won, regionals and this and that. But there was never that, the long pull, the long advocate, because they, those relationships were never maintained. And so when it really mattered, like, so it wasn't, they went to this team, whatever, and made it a power team and left, another program and won something. But now when it really matters, right, in college or in like pro, nobody's there to serve as an advocate, to, like, link you up with the right agent, link you, like, and even that, right? Like, so, like, so many of the coaches, there's so many coaches with, or programs with links and connections with agents.
Yeah.
And, even like, so when a kid comes in, or, a player comes in, that program will more than likely advocate and work with someone who's, been loyal to them in a way, as opposed to somebody that may be way more talented than another kid, but they're pushing this other guy. And you can see, like, the crazy thing is, like, you can see it a lot of times. Like, if you go to their websites or their media campaigns, they're pushing, and if the kids on the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you know the kids on the team, and you're like, what? Like, so much more, like, is getting busy. Yet, everybody, they just keep talking about this other guy. And it's because the other guy, like, a lot of times the other guy has been in that program, and it's it's the same. Like, even I mean, you even see it in the bigger programs, the big professional programs, how like with Barca, for instance, how they were willing to get rid of Ronaldinho for Messi because he was, like, he's that homegrown. He's been there for years. And so, I mean, so, like, we know this, but we forget it sometimes, which I think is unfortunate.
Definitely.
Yes. I mean, I don't know what the title of that is going to be, but
well, what do you call it? What do you call it? Who did you develop it?
Who did you develop?
I like that because now they gonna go, damn, I should have developed this kid. Or they could be like, shoot, I developed it.
Yeah. I mean,
Some people are different. Some people probably would take this as, yeah, I developed this kid.